자, 격내. 이번 take a seat. Meditation. Cross your leg. Hands in the knee. Then back straight. Then close your eye. Take a deep breathing. Then breathe out. Take a deep breathing in. Breathe out now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, now tennis of Taekwondo. Repeat after me. Courtesy. Integrity. Perseverance. Self-control. Indomitable spirit. Now you're gonna do Poomsae number 1 with your hands. So if you don't, 기합. 차렷, 경례. 준비. Poomsae number 1. 시작. 바로 그렇죠? Breathing and breathe out. Open your eyes. 네, 에버 생각.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's one more. 에버 스타일 jumping jack. Ready, set, go. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
아이니 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
킥킥백 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now one from the front. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나,
둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now cross and roll. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
이렇게 하기 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now let's kneel. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
미실래. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하이웨이. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, lift the feet. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
아홉. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, 바로 breathe in and then breathe out. Okay, now second hand. 암쪽 stretch your 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 랩살.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
여덟살. 마스터 키네틱.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
나 리시 포 핸즈. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 나 컨스트로.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
나 푸실라틀라 소물 선석 스라비아그.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
오케이, 스위치. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Okay, next. Rotation your hand.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Other side.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now shoulder rotation. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉. The other way.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now hip rotation. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉. The other way.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, next hand to knee rotation. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉. The other way.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Now rest up, open your legs and the face left side. Big stand, and the hips going down. The back straight. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Turn around the side.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, next, toe to point side away. Hand to the knee, and then twist your body with the left side. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉. The other way.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, now stretching your legs on the outside. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Switch.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, stand up. Everyone shake your leg and the hand. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Okay, now we are going to do some conditioning. So each conditioning we are do 30 seconds. I'm gonna count 1 to 30 seconds, and then you can do so as much you can. So it doesn't matter how many you can do. All right. So first push-up position. Everyone get ready. Push-up position. So we're gonna do push-up 30 seconds. All right. Ready, set, go. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 10 seconds. 하나, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Rest. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Next, 같이 가나네. So push up kick. So you're gonna push up position and then open your leg and repeat either.
Sir.
Okay, 30 seconds. Ready? So master can count please. Ready, set, go.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Okay, 바로 take a rest. 하나, 10 seconds rest. 하나, take a breathe in and breathe out. 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉. Get ready to push-up position again. Next, mountain climb like this. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, ready? So Mr. Mayan, count please. Ready? Say, begin.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
자, 바로 rest. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Next, we're going to do a plank. Everyone, push your arm, elbow on the floor, and then swing your body. Okay, 30 seconds. Everyone ready? Set, go. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 10 seconds left. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 바로 타임. 자, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯. Everyone get ready, push, sit up position. Sit up. First of all, we do regular sit up. Only 30 seconds. Okay, ready? Set. Keep complete. Ready? Set. Go.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱,
Don't give up. Keep
여덟,
going.
아홉,
You do as you can.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
자, rest. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Move next. We do leg press. So you're gonna lay down. Lift your leg. 1, 2. Okay. So 30 seconds. We do 30 seconds. So lay down ready.
Yes, sir.
Lay down ready.
하나,
Go.
둘, 셋,
No rush.
다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Very good. 셋, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 아홉, 열. Now you're gonna do. So put your hands beside your hip. Okay. Now stretching your leg, extend your leg, and then in.
됐어.
Okay. Out and then in. Okay. For 30 seconds. Ready? Set. Begin. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 됐습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 바로. Now everybody stretching your back like this. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. One standing on.
됐어.
Okay, next we do squat. Elbow squat position. A little bit open your legs. So ready, 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 자,
됐어.
시킬래? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Okay, move your legs with the lunge. So, one leg front and the back. Do you understand? So 30 seconds right there. Can you shift sideways? So make sure body straight, don't really pull too much. Back straight, bend your back leg. But do not touch the floor too much. Okay. Down and up, down and up. So for 30 seconds. Ready? So my hand count please. Ready? Set, begin!
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟,
Control your pace.
아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 자, 바로.
Okay, now let's test the advanced spread.
Start.
Open your leg as much as you can. And the back straight. Now, hands up all the way. Take a deep breathing. And then breathe out. And then reach forward. All the way. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열, 고백. Okay, try one more. Take a deep breathing now. And then breathe out. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Now you guys raise your hand and then touch your left toe. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Other side. Breathing and then breathe out. Okay, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Okay, go back middle. Ready? One more. Last one. Take a deep breathing and then breathe out. Go all the way down. Chest, put your chest on the floor. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Now, move your legs slowly and then sit together. Follow fly. Shake your knee. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Now everybody count.
하나,
둘,
둘,
셋,
셋,
넷,
넷,
다섯,
다섯,
여섯,
여섯,
일곱,
일곱,
여덟,
여덟,
아홉,
아홉,
열.
열.
Hands up. Now reach for hand. down. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Now one more. Breathe in. Back straight. Then down. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Good job. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Okay, turn around, fixing your uniform and the back. Turn around. Okay, face the check.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 경례. Grab some water and then come back. Good check.
Okay, we're gonna start with beginner's Poomsae on my count. Two.
Yes, sir.
Poomsae, Poomsae 준비. Ready. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. 하나, 하! 바로. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time on your own time. Try to follow the same speed, guys. 자, 준비. On your own time, beginner's Poomsae. 시작. 자,
So next, Instructor Miriam is going to do Poomsae number 1. First on my count. 자,
Yes, sir.
준비. Poomsae number 1. Okay, 워킹 세 로블라 하나. Okay, 둘. Okay, middle punch. Okay, 하나. 로블라. 둘. middle punch. Okay, put your left to left forward. Big sand, low block and punch. 하나. Okay, move it back leg and then middle block with left hand. Okay, 둘. step a punch with the right arm. 하나. Connect turn to the left side, middle bar. 둘. Step 4, middle punch. 하나. Then move your right leg, front leg, in the big set, low block and punch. 둘, 하나. Then next face is the left side and the head block. 하나. Front kick, middle punch. 둘. Turn to the right side, head block with right arm. 하나. Front kick, middle punch. 둘. And then move your front leg, and then put your left leg forward, big set, low block. 하나. Step 4, middle punch, and then 기아. 둘. 바로. 샷. Now 준비. Now Poomsae number 1 on your own time. So when you do on your own time, don't look at the camera. Okay, focus on your technique. 준비. 시작. 바로. Okay, shot. Okay, move on next. The master Kenneth is going to Poomsae number 2. Okay, set. Kenneth. Okay, turn around. Okay. 준비. Poomsae number 2 on my count. 하나. Okay, 둘. Big set, middle pump. 하나, 둘, walking set, middle bar with right hand, 하나, 둘, one more, okay, face this way, and then walking set, low block, 하나, front kick, big set, head punch, 둘, okay, turn to the right side, low block again, 하나, front kick, head punch, 둘, okay, next face forward, walking set, head block with left hand. 하나. One more. 둘. Okay, next move your back leg with the left leg and then turn all the way in the middle bar with right hand. 하나. Okay, now pivot, turn to the right side and then again. 둘. Okay, next put your left leg forward, walking set, low block. 하나. Front kick in the middle palm, right leg with the right hand. Okay, 둘. Okay, again, left leg and the left hand. 하나. Okay, last one. 네, 기아. 둘. Okay, 바로. Okay, shot. Good job. Okay, next. On your own time, Poomsae number 2. 준비. 시작. 바로 샷. 자, okay, last Poomsae number 3. That's not.
Kenneth. 준비. Poomsae number 3 on my count. 하나. 둘. 하나. 둘. 하나. Right hand block. 둘. 하나. Back stance here. 둘. Big stance punch. 하나. 둘. 하나. Middle block. Walking stance. 둘. Turn the block. 하나. 둘. Kick double punch. Middle punch. 하나. 둘. Going back. 하나. Low block punch. 둘. Low block punch. Set. Kick. Low block punch. 넷.
하!
바로. Shook. Poomsae number 3. On your own time. Yes, sir. Chair.
Snap.
Hyunrae. 준비. Poomsae number 3. On your own time. 시작. 하루. Shook. Thank you.
Okay, champ.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come in. Guys, all back and then come back, please. Good job.
Okay, everyone, today we're going to work on balance in kicking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start from a fine stance. Fine stance should be, we're going to practice our front kick and our landing separately. So you want to try to balance on a single leg. So after we do the front kick, you're going to hold your leg in the air like this. And from here, when I put my leg down, you're going to land in a walking stance. So let's practice keeping a few things right. Number one, let's make sure your back is straight. So if we see this, not so good. If we see this, also not so good. Number two, you want to keep your hands still. If your hands are moving around, not good. If your hands are coming down or up, not good. You want to keep your hands still, right? So how do you do that? Either keep your hands in one place or put it against your chest. Okay, the last thing you don't want to do, don't bend your knee when you kick. Okay, so let's try to do those three things when we do front kick. Ready, fine stance, big. Ready, let's count in 1 and 2. 1 is the kick, 2 you put down your leg. Ready, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's move back. Okay, guys, let's try the same thing, but now we're going to land in the forward stance, okay? So when you land in the forward stance, you don't want to throw your body forward. So if I'm doing this, that's wrong. Your front kick should be the same whether you land in a walking stance or forward stance. You just have to land it. The kick should be the same. So I kick, and then if I want to land in forward stance, I'm going to move forward. So let's practice that together and work on your balance. Okay, so remember, if I see this, something's going wrong. Okay, ready? From here, let's try front kick 1. Keep your balance. Forward stance 2. Front kick 1. Forward stance 2. 1, 2. Okay, let's move back. Okay. We're going to take the same idea. We're going to work on our turning kicks. But we're going to land in a walking stance. So to practice our balance, you're going to do your turning kick. And then when you land, you're going to turn your body back to the front to make a walking stance. So from here, you raise your knee, bring it up and turn. When you turning kick, your body's going to face the side. When you land, you're going to turn your body back to face the forward. So let's give that a try, shall we? Ready? Turning kick 1, 2, walking stance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's move back. A couple of reminders. When you do your turning kick, you need to pivot. Yes, so when you do a turning kick, you raise your knee and you turn your body. When you turn your body, you lift up your foot to the height of your knee. These should be the same height before you extend your leg. So if I see this, not so good. If I see this, really not so good. So do your best to get that leg sideways. Okay? Parallel to the ground. Okay, so let's try the same thing, but this time, let's try to land in the forward stance again. Let's try to change up your balance. You land forward now. Okay, ready? Fine stance should be. Ha! Turning kick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, from here, let's move back. Okay, so hopefully you guys can guess what's coming next. If you got a front kick, turning kick, the next thing is going to be your side kick. Let's work on the balance for our side kick, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, let's see it sideways so I can show you what we're doing. So from a walking stance or from a forward stance, when you raise your knee, you have to turn your body just like a turning kick, right? So you turn your body to the side, but you bring your knee in towards your chest. But still, your knee and your foot should be the same height before you push your leg up. And then reline. So we're going to practice landing in walking stance first. So you're going to bring your knee up and turn. You go 1, and then 2. Land facing forward again. So let's work on that balance, okay? Try your best not to hop around if you can. And try your best not to lean back too much when you're doing your side kick. Okay, ready? Let's begin. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's move back. Okay, now let's apply the same thing to a forward stance once again. Okay, so from here, after you do your side kick, you're going to land in the forward stance. Try to slow it down, try to turn your body back to the front as you go forward. So from here, side kick 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, very good. From here, let's take a rest, and then we're going to come back for self-defense. Check. Good day. Very good job, everybody.
Awesome, guys. Master Kenneth. So, self-defense, again, for those who haven't done it, it's going to be kind of new, but don't worry about it. It won't be part of your belt test, but those who are, those that have done it in class, they're intermediate people, or adult beginners also do self-defense. So this is a kind of mixed group we have here. If you haven't done it, it won't be part of your test. If you have, it will be. And right now, we just wanna remind you how those self-defense are done. Okay, let's follow them. And if you have a stick, somebody can attack you with, or if not, if you have someone at home to attack you, if not, just watch and just do the defense. Do the defense. There's no one attacking you. You're just gonna refresh your mind how you're gonna defend imaginary opponents. Okay, punch is coming towards you. You're gonna middle block, elbow, spin elbow, middle block, punch, punch. I leave it to Master Kim, and who's doing it? There you are. You guys just watch and try to remember the techniques.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go through doing low block, right, from the walking stance position. So let's practice applying the low block, right, and we're going to block to the leg level with our forearm. So you have to remember that all three blocks that we do, low block, middle block, and head block, are all done with the forearm. Right, so from here, let's practice this together. We're going to do it 5 times on each hand and each leg. Okay, so ready? Try to follow my count, right? And block at the same time as I throw the target forward. So when I count, be ready to block straight away. Let's practice good time. Okay, ready? Now, ha! 2, ha! 3, ha! 4, ha! 5, ha! 6, ha! Right, just 5, sorry. Let's change sides. Okay. So let's do the other side now. Ready? From here. by my count. 하나, 하, 둘, 하, 셋, 하, 넷, 하, 다섯, 하. Very good. From here, next technique we're going to do is middle block. So for this one, let's practice it from a also walking stance. Okay, we're going to do opposite leg from our hand, just like we said, number 1 and 2. Okay, ready? From here, we're going to put the noodle forward. Master Kim is going to block just before the noodle reaches his body. So he's going to have to time it.
Try not to do like this.
No circles.
Yeah.
Right. Keep the same height for your hand. Ready? Now. Ha! 둘, ha! 셋, ha! 넷, ha! 다섯, ha! Okay, good. From here, let's change hand and leg. Ready? 하나, 하! 둘, 하! 셋, 하! 넷, 하! 다섯, 하! Very good. Okay, one thing we're going to try to emphasize for you guys, right, is something we've talked about before. It's the twist of your hand. So when do we do the twist in our blocks? It's at the last second. So you don't twist your hand first and then move it over. Just before, right, my hand reaches the target, right? Master Kim is going to twist his hand just before he hits the target so that the force of the twist is added to his block, right? Otherwise, why do it, right? Okay, so watch again from here. Master Kim's going to do it slowly. 1 and 2. Okay, so try to time the twisting of your hand at the last second. Okay, so you guys are going to learn how to apply this to blocking people, right? You want to make sure you have that twist at the last second so that you can deflect the hand. Okay, this is the difference between a push, right, and a block. You need some force behind it, otherwise you're just pushing on it, right? So let's try this time with head block. So we're going to swing the target straight downwards. Master Kim is going to block above his head. Ready? Let's try this together with your left hand and your left leg in front. Ready? 하나, 하! 둘, 하! 셋, 하! 넷, 하! 다섯, 하! Very good. From here, let's change sides. Now remember, when you're throwing that hip block upwards, right, try to have your body twisting away from center and then back to center before you swing it up, right, to add a little bit of momentum, right, to your block. So swing your shoulders and your hips forward at the same time as you throw your hand up for power. Let's try this out. Ready? With your left hand or right hand. 하나, 하! 둘, 하! 셋, 하! 넷, 하! 다섯, 하! Okay, very good. Okay, let's also apply this, right, because we go up to take 3, let's go through a single knife hand block as well. Okay, so start at a back stance. You're going to block sideways. It's going to be the opposite of your middle block. You're going to go outwards. So when middle block goes towards center, single knife hand block goes away from center. Okay, so the target is still the same, but you're going across center in the opposite direction. Okay, so try to time it so that the block finishes before the target reaches your body. Let's try this out. Okay, let's start with your left hand first. And now, ha! 둘, ha! 셋, 하! 넷, 하! 다섯, 하! Very good. Let's change sides. Okay, ready? From here, let's start right hand. 하나, 하! 둘, 하! 셋, 하! 넷, 하! 다섯, 하! Okay, very good. Okay, so now we're going to take these blocks and we're going to apply them to our self-defense movements. Okay, so the first one we're going to apply is the middle block. So the middle block we're going to apply to a horse riding stance. This is the punch directed at your body. We're going to do 2 actions today. Number 1, you're going to deflect the hand off of center. Number 2, you're going to move your body off of center to avoid being hit. So you want to be doubly safe. If someone is trying to hit you, right, you're doing 2 things. Right? Number 1, you are moving the target off of center, right, just in case someone could hit you, right? But what if you miss, right? You have to always keep in mind, right? No one's perfect, right? So you want to be doubly safe. So I'm also going to move to the side, and I'm going to move the hand off of center at the same time. You can see from this view, if someone's attacking me, I'm going to go sideways, and I'm going to block at the same time, right? So I'm doubly sure that this fist is not going to hit me. right? So then the last thing we have to remember is also that, right, we want to move into a position where our opponent has a hard time following up. So if I stay in front of my opponent here, he has another hand to hit me with, right? His hand is closer to me from here. But if I move to the side that I'm punching on, that he's punching on, if I move this way, his hand is further away from me, and he has to twist his arm further, right, across his body to reach me. This is his hand. He has to go over his hand, which is a little harder to do, right? So, right, let's try the movement out first, step by step, and then we're going to move through it, right, with the target that applied with timing. So let's start with the movement with our feet first together, following me. Okay, it's time for tip, and then. Okay, so from Jumbi position, we're going to move one side at a time. Let's start with your right hand and your right leg moving. You're going to move into a horse riding stance that way. Or in Master Kim says that way, that dance. Okay, so pick someone to follow, right? If you're not sure of the movement, look at me. But in case of which leg to move, follow Master Kim. So it's going to be from position 1, 2, 2. And then you're going to follow up with a punch to the body and a punch to the face. Okay? Let's try this out. So try to aim carefully. Ready? Position 1. So step and block together. 2, 3, 4. Okay, ready? Let's put it all together. Block, punch, punch. Ready? Again. 2. Set. Net. Okay, very good. One of the most important things to remember here is that you're not doing a side step. You're not doing a forward step. You're stepping into the corner, diagonal, this way. Okay, it's the same idea in sparring as when you do a side step facing your opponent. You want to avoid an attack, but you still want to maintain your distance from your opponent so that you can attack. Let's practice the same idea with the other hand this time. Right? So we'll use my right hand. We'll use this left or right hand also. Ready? From here, right hand up, right leg move, and out. Third. Set. Net. Toss-up. Okay, very good, everybody. So we're going to make sure we cover two things today. When we do our 2 strikes, we're aiming at 2 different points in the body. Okay, so in the traditional techniques, we're aiming to the solar plexus and to the face. Okay, but let's say you were to apply this in a real situation. You do not have to go in chamber punch, and you don't have to go. Instead, right, as long as you're aiming at a person's body, you can throw a punch to the body, throw a punch to the face, right? You can throw punches from your guard as well. It does not always have to be down here. So if I was to step aside, you can go boom, boom, boom. I don't have to do it exactly like this, but this is the basic technique we're doing first. Okay, so we learn the basic technique, and then you can learn how to apply it in a real situation. Okay, so that's the first one, right? The second technique we're going to learn how to do is the same block, but this time we're going to follow up with an elbow strike to the body, followed by an elbow strike to the face. One is going inwards, one is going outwards. Okay, a very common mistake we see students do is they step forward and they poke the elbow forward like this. You don't want to see this. You want to see your elbow going towards center and then away from center. Actually, technically both are towards center. Okay, so first of all, let's practice from the position that we need to be in, right? So let's start from Junbi position. Okay, so first we're going to step into that same diagonal step, right, with the middle block. So the first block is still the same. Number 1 step, get out of the way and deflect the strike. 1. Now, number 2, you're going to take a step, right, and you're going to bring your elbow forward at the same time. You're going to swing your body in this direction, like this. 2, right, so your elbow is going this way. Your strike is going this way. Please don't make the mistake of doing this. I don't want to see your hand, your elbow going this way. No poking, okay? Hit them. Okay, ready from here? You're going to turn your feet, you're going to look over your shoulder, and you're going to swing your elbow forward to a person's chin level. Okay, so the 2 targets are a person's rib cage and their chin. Because we hit someone in the ribs, oh, it's not so fun. They're going to bend over in pain. And guess what? That means their face is a lot closer for that elbow to come up to strike. All right, so let's practice this movement again. Ready? From Junbi. Ready. Block 1. Ha. Step 2, elbow.
Ha.
Elbow 3. Turn.
Ha.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's go through it a little faster. Let's try to put the 3 movements together. Ready? Ha, 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 ha.
Ha.
2, ha, ha, ha. Set, ha, ha, ha. Net, ha, ha, ha. Kasa, ha, ha, ha. Very good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the same thing on the other side, right? We have to balance it out. So now right hand, left elbow, right arm. Okay, make sure you keep your balance and make sure you don't step too far and lose your balance. Okay? So another important thing to know is that when you're stepping over, right, you have to imagine that you're stepping to the outside of your opponent's legs. Right? If you step too close to your opponent, right, you're in striking range of them. You want to be on the outside of their legs, not between their legs when you step forward. Okay? So we're not going to show you this distancing, but have that image in your head. Right? Be on the outside of your opponent's body, not the center, when you step forward. Okay, let's try this again with the right hand. Ready? So right hand up. Hana! 2, set, ha! One more time. Hana!
Ha.
2,
Ha.
set.
Ha.
Okay, very good. Now let's put it all together. We go 1, 2, and 3 as fast as you can. Ready? Hana! Ha! 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 2, ha, ha, ha. Set, ha, ha, ha. Net, ha, ha, ha. Last one, toss up, ha, ha, ha. Very good. Okay, from here, let's take a deep breath.
Awesome. Thank you, Master Kim and Master Lim. How's your self-defense class without partner in front of you? Do you guys like what you see? Are you doing it? Are you learning the technique? Say yes if you are. Say no if you're not. And again, I mentioned this is for people they've done it before. They kind of now also new techniques as well. So even if you haven't done it before, you probably learn. Today we're going to talk about how to manage our angers. If you guys know, if you have a way of doing that, please type in what you do when you become angry. Do you break the table? Do you break the wall? Or do you just stay calm and control? How do you control your anger? I give you 30 seconds to write down the different ways you control your anger and frustration. All right. I'll ask our instructors see if they have anything for you. Master Kenneth, you have some ways to manage our anger and emotions?
So for myself, right, the best way I can explain it is when it comes to managing my anger, it comes from a place of self-discipline, right? So in terms of what I've learned over the long period of Taekwondo is that, you know, training your body, training your mind, they go together, right? When you're feeling upset, when you're feeling an urge, you know, to burst out with your emotions, when you feel like you have to, you know, you want to lash out at something, right? There's appropriate ways of expressing your emotions. And there's inappropriate ways of expressing your emotions, right? Inappropriate is, for example, the example I gave a few weeks ago was the time when I broke someone's door out of anger because someone tried to, you know, squish my foot with the door, right? And so, yeah, you know, in that moment, I got angry, right? I kicked the door, I did something I shouldn't have, and it kind of broke. Right, and at that time I had consequences, right? Like I wasn't allowed to continue with Taekwondo for a few months, right? This is back when I was a white belt, but still, right? And so number one, I remember the consequences that came after. Number two, right, now that I'm a higher belt, I also have, people who look up to me, right? So I have people, right, as an instructor, I have to remember that I hold myself up to a higher standard, and as well as you guys. When you get up to a higher belt level, we expect, that your behavior, right, will improve as well. We expect that your conduct is like that of a martial artist, right? It should be different from before. You should have more self-control going forward, not less.
Awesome. Great advice. Thank you. Master Kim, do you have any advice how students should control their anger on red tape?
How to manage anger. And
What do you do when you become angry?
Due to COVID-19, I feel frustrated. Then I try to have a positive attitude or try not to complain about situation. I usually take a time out and try to get fresh air by jogging.
Yes, fresh air,
or
exercise, jogging, yeah.
jogging or going for a walk. But this day we can because COVID-19. So instead, I try to practice kicking by myself at home.
Replace that.
So it helps reduce my stress and then control information.
Very good. Yeah, do Taekwondo. Basically, you kick, you release stress, you'll be less angry. Thank you, sir. Instructor Mayam, do you have anything for us?
Yes. In my opinion, we tend to get angry. We tend to get frustrated when we can't control something. Something like COVID-19, we couldn't control it, and all of us sometimes we get frustrated with this, with work, with the school. I think it's time for us. This is a time that we can actually work on ourselves. Before, I didn't have any time to actually get a book, start reading a book, or write something. In my opinion, if something makes you angry, write it down, and then write your emotional down, and then you understand next time when you read it, this thing makes you angry and you can control it. Or I would say when you get angry in that moment, think before you speak, because it's so easy when we're very angry and we're frustrated, we tend to say something that make other people upset. I think it's better to calm yourself first, then speak to them.
Very good, very well. Actually, someone here says read book. That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Read book, breathe, and calm down. Yes, this is good. Thank you. Yes. Wait. Every time before you get angry and say something crazy, just wait. Breathe. That's what I would do. Because a lot of times you just rush into the situation and you judge and you do something crazy that you regret later, So one of the best thing would be wait, breathe. You know how they count down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they count 1 to 10, or they go 10 to 1. So you just breathe and relax at that time. And then you think a little bit more and you wonder why you feel that way, right? You want to know what is the real problem here. There are sometimes problems that occurring every day, for adult, let's say, is driving. For kids are different. Kids at home, certain things happening every day. It's different. For adults, it's different. But we all need to wait and breathe and think about why it's making us angry. Why do we feel that way? Try to wonder, understand the problem. Like Instructor Mariam says, you write down the problems, and then next time when it happens, it reminds you, oh, that's the same thing is happening every day. Like when I'm driving every day, someone's driving bad in front of me, or someone's going fast, someone's going slow, and it's like repeating every day. If I don't recognize that in advance, And every day I want to get mad. Every day I want to yell, scream, and not control myself. Then I have no self-control, and that's not the best of me. You want to think about like what's the highest self of you, like what's the best of Master Saadati. I'm master. Like another day, I was walking with my dog on the street, in the park actually, and this guy just started. I don't want to go through the details. He started yelling and swearing and being rude and using bad words towards me, and I tried to not to say anything, and this guy doesn't stop. He keeps going on and on. And until I had to, I put the dog inside the car first, and then I go to him like, you know who I am? You talking to Master. I didn't say Master. So you know who you talking to? You swearing at me? You know who I am? I was gonna tell him like I'm world champion, I'm this and that master. So he backs up, and he stops yelling. And then he's like, who are you? And then I just waited. At that time I said, I'm nobody. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just someone walking with his dog here. And then that guy completely changed. I changed his state of mind right there. It was like from level of anger up there, he just cooled down. He's like, I'm nobody either. I'm a regular guy too. And then he talked about things, and I'm like, okay, I know, I understand your frustration, but we're good. We're good now, right? We live a few blocks from here. So instead of fighting the guy, first I was so mad, angry. I was like, someone's coming towards me and yelling and screaming, but he didn't hit me. Like I was ready. If he hit me, I would take him down or defend myself, right? But he didn't hit. He was just yelling, going crazy. So I just changed the subject right there. It's just nobody. And then it was so funny. He almost laughed, and I laughed. And then at the end, we shook hands and we left. So at that time, if I did something else instead of that, if I went into my Taekwondo mode and kick him in the head, knock him down, what would be that? Like, would that be the best of Master Saadati? How would I feel? Like I hit the stranger on the street? Would I be proud of that later? No. So we need to control our emotion and anger and try to wait and breathe and always try to find the real problem. And we also have to, once we recognize the problem, we have to find a solution for it. And we prevent it from happening again. If something at home is happening between the family, we have to set rules and say, oh, this can't happen every day. Maybe you're not on the street to fight, but at home something goes wrong and makes you angry. So we have to set rules, and we have to warn each other, give warning each other. So we talk about it, and before we go too crazy and do something that we regret later, we can control the emotion and make sure everybody's safe at home. And the last thing is you want to think about well-being of everybody. Like, is this something healthy? Like, if I'm getting angry all the time, if I'm frustrated all the time, if I'm yelling at the time, if I'm complaining all the time, is that healthy for me? Is this healthy for my family? Is it healthy for my employee, for my boss, for my whoever that I live with other people, right? No, it's not healthy, right? So let's be healthy. Thank you for joining today. Okay. Thank you for joining, everyone. Chariot. 건강. 감사합니다. Thank you.